Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Sarah Pacaro here. Today's video is going to be about retroactive jealousy, or RJ for short, and how you get RJ after being in a narcissistic relationship or even being raised by narcissistic parent or parents. So first off, let's start by defining RJ, or retroactive jealousy. Sometimes it's also known as retrograde jealousy, retrospective jealousy. Just like CPTSD can be considered chaotic, complex, confusing, whatever you want to call it. It's not a very fun experience to have. And retroactive jealousy, in its most simple form, means an unhealthy interest in your partner's sexual and or romantic past. Right? And you probably heard the phrase, it's in the past, just let it go. But you have such an unhealthy interest in it that it seems like it consumes you. You can't just let it go. You want to know everything about it. You want to know all the details. And it's natural as humans to feel jealous at some point or another about your partner's past. But most jealousy is fleeting, is passing. Retroactive jealousy seems to be consuming, chaotic, complex. It's an extremely unhealthy dive and interest and almost obsession with your partner's sexual or romantic past. So if you've been searching retroactive jealousy, OCD, whatever the retroactive jealousy cure is, if there is one, because you cannot go on living this way and bringing this type of jealousy into your relationships because you notice it's ruining them. If you're looking for treatment, cure from the triggers, or how to heal from the triggers, or stop the triggers because they're impacting your relationship, and perhaps you're in a relationship with a really great partner right now and there's no reason to be jealous. You have a past, they have a past, you get that, but you can't stop being consumed by this retroactive jealousy that you're now experiencing, specifically maybe because your last partner was a narcissist and perhaps this partner is not. And you know that because you know the red flags, you know the signs, and this partner does not show or exhibit those signs, but you realize that you're the one ruining this relationship, and you're realizing maybe it's this retroactive jealousy because I'm obsessed and consumed with their past partners and relationships and extremely jealous. And then I project that jealousy onto my new partner and in this new relationship, and it seems to be ruining it now. How do I overcome this? Because if I don't, I'm never going to have a good and healthy relationship. And after having that narcissistic relationship, that is all that I truly and purely deserve and desire. So let's get into retroactive jealousy, what it is, and how to overcome it. So if you are suffering from repetitive thoughts about your partner's romantic or sexual history, then you may have heard this word or this phrase, retroactive jealousy, OCD, right? You become obsessed with the thoughts about those things. So in other words, you can think of retroactive jealousy as obsessive compulsive disorder or as OCD. Those are things. I have another video, can you develop OCD from being with a narcissist? So I encourage you to go check that out. It's in my other videos, got tons of videos about all things that happen to you as a result of having been in a relationship or raised by narcissists. So if you're not quite sure what it means, if you have it or not, or more importantly, how to overcome it if you do, then stick around. You're going to love this video because we're going to dive into all things that have to do with retroactive jealousy or retroactive OCD. Because all too often you can become extremely perplexed and distressed from this retroactive jealousy. So what that means is just consuming, overwhelming, almost compulsive, like negative thoughts and emotions. So it's not just the thoughts, but thoughts cause emotions, emotions cause actions, right? What lies underneath that is the beliefs that you have about yourself. That's what leads to the negative thoughts. That's what dictates the emotions and your actions, your projection of those emotions of anger and jealousy and rage and argumentation onto that next partner. So those negative thoughts about a partner's past consume your mind. You wonder, did they like it with them better? How was it? Maybe and almost become obsessed with being better than their partners, even though you don't want to know about their partners in the past. You do, because you want to be better than. That's all linked to this underlying unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself, that you're not as good as them, and you want to perform better than them. You want to be better than them. you want to be more liked by your partner than they liked them in every way. So this becomes this retroactive jealousy or this OCD, and it comes in different parts. So we're going to go into those parts. So let's see that. All right. What is it? Let's just start off by breaking down the definition of retroactive jealousy. What retroactive jealousy is, like we talked about before, sometimes known as retrospective or retrograde jealousy, simply means that an unhealthy interest in your partner's sexual and or romantic past. They didn't know you then, so it really shouldn't bother you about what they were doing at that time, right? But you're obsessed with bringing knowing that and allowing it to come into your relationship with them now when they didn't know you then. So many people feel jealous at any point, right? At some point about their partner's past, especially if you run into that person that they used to be with, or maybe they have a child with that person and they still have to see them. And you know that there's still this connection, right? Through the child or through the things that they experienced with that person in the past. And you're extremely jealous of that. So your jealousy spirals out of control, becomes obsessive negative thoughts, which lead to emotions, which lead to negative actions. All of that is retroactive jealousy. And that can cause a ton of suffering on the relationship and damage to that relationship and potentially even end it. And that might not be a good thing because this relationship may be a good thing, not something that you want to end, but you can't seem to get away from the consumption of your own negative thoughts about that person's past partners. So, negative thoughts and emotions that come with retroactive jealousy are thoughts of judgment, thoughts of fear, thoughts of envy, thoughts of anxiety, thoughts of anger, and thoughts of doubt. And all of those things are things that the narcissist places in your mind, in your body, and in your heart. You doubt the way that you look is good enough. You doubt the way that you will ever look will ever be good enough, that anyone will ever want you or love you. So you're constantly judging yourself against not only your partner's past partners, but against everyone, against people that you see in the grocery store, walking across the street. If you're picking your kids up at school, you look at someone or you see your partner look at someone, and suddenly there's this judgment that they're better than you and you're envious. And then you fear that maybe you see your partner smile at someone. You fear that they like that person more than they liked you. And you know that maybe there was some infidelity in their past relationship, and you think suddenly they're going to be cheating on you. And so this is big explosive argument about how they're going to cheat on you. And I thought you would never do this. And then anger gets involved. And then you have anxiety. You can't stop worrying and calling your friends and family and saying, oh my gosh, I know this person is just going to leave me, because you should have seen the way that he looked at her or that she looked at him. And then there's doubt. There's doubt in your mind that even though you want to think that they would never do that, that you really doubt that. And you believe, well, maybe they would. I don't know. Did you see the way that they looked at them? So all of those negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions are associated with retroactive jealousy. The judgment, the fear, the envy, the anger, the anxiety, and the doubt. Judgment usually comes, though, however, in the form of retroactive jealousy with a partner's sexual history. When you learn about that and you think, well, they behaved immorally, well, they dated loose people in the past, right? I've seen who you've dated and they were all, whoa, yeah, they let anyone in there. So there's a lot of judgment around that. Your partner having been with other partners who we're an open door. Let's just say that. So another feeling and emotion that comes with retroactive jealousy is fear. So often knowledge of your partner's past, especially if it was a promiscuous past, and you know that they've been with a lot of people. And if you've been with a narcissist, this is in their playbook. They are notorious for being with a lot of people because they use people as their source of supply. And you probably know about this, and maybe they joke about it or they laugh about it, but it makes you really, really envious and jealous of it. So you have this fear with the knowledge of the partner's promiscuous past that leads unconsciously or subconsciously, whatever word you want to use, to a fear that they will repeat the actions of their past in their present, in their relationship with you. And this further connects to and develops a deeply rooted fear that you will lose them, and the fear that you will be alone and you will be without them. That's most people's number one fear, is the fear of being alone and the fear of loss. And the unconscious mind does not like the fear of loss. It moves you away from it. So then you become codependent and you become obsessive with keeping them. You become a doormat. You become this person who does whatever they want you to do in an effort to try to keep the person that you fear you might lose. So envy comes into play next. And the person who's experiencing envy has often maybe envy that you don't have as much experience as you know your partner does. You haven't been with as many people as you know your partner has been. And there's a lot of envy over that, maybe thinking that they're more experienced than I am, that I don't know how to do this thing in the bedroom that they had done in the past, or I do want to do that thing that I know they used to do with other people in the past. And there's a lot of envy in that, a lot of suffering and a lot of pressure to perform because you're envious of other partners and people that they've been with who have done those things. So this causes a lot of envy and a lot of chaos in the bedroom and in that part of the relationship, and a lot of emotional shutdown, which can lead to a physical shutdown, which can lead to physical pain when doing certain types of things with that person in the bedroom, all because that envy is being suppressed and expressed, which leads to a lot of physical pain as well. And if you feel that you're judging yourself, if you're losing them, and you're envious of the other people that they've been with, you know that they've been with, let's say, Barbie dolls in the past, and you don't feel that you're a Barbie doll, right? You look in the mirror and all you see are your imperfections and your flaws, or at least you call them that, then you hold on to that. And then you're envious and think, well, that person probably looked better, did this better, and you liked that better. And then there's this expectation that you need to measure up to those standards again, or they're going to lose you. And that causes a lot of anger. So the person suffering from RJ feels like in their body, emotionally and physically, feels a lot of anger when they even think about their partner's past. You don't even need to be talking about your partner's past with them, but you, being the person with RJ, just think about your partner's past and you think, well, why were they with her? Why did they do that to them or with them and not me? And these kinds of emotions evoke a lot of anger, and that just adds fuel to this retroactive jealousy fire, which leads to a lot of doubt and a lot of anxiety. So you have a lot of anxieties about your partner's past, which may lead to physical panic and anxiety attacks for you in the present. You get completely consumed and overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions about your partner and their past and things they did with other people, that leads to you having an anxiety attack and shutting down. And then you believing that you think you're crazy because now here you are having an anxiety attack, quote unquote, over nothing, when it's really just thoughts of your partner's past and thoughts of jealousy, anger, rage, and comparison and judgment and fear, which leads to a lot of doubt within yourself, mostly, and then doubts about the relationship, if it's the right one, if this, is really the person that you should be with, if this person really is better than your ex, if they truly love you or truly committed to you, truly never would do those things that you don't want them to do. So past actions can make us doubt whether a partner is the one or the right fit in the first place. So this leads to more spiraling questions of, do I really want to be with someone who I know cheated on his girlfriend in the past, or took her back after she cheated, or was on and off, or someone who ended up hooking up with that person's best friend, even though they said they were broken up? How can I be with someone who I know has had multiple one-night stands or used to have a very loose past, with people that they just met that night, even though they were just quote unquote having a good time and it didn't quote unquote mean anything? There's a lot of doubts that come into play, and all of these thoughts and all of these emotions get mixed in and they create this retroactive jealousy, or RJ. And this seems to be amplified if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, not just in normal relationships, but in relationships where that narcissist was constantly gaslighting you and constantly feeding you half truths and lies and not being completely honest about their past. They hid things from you. And then later on, you found out that what they said, in fact, wasn't true. And that there was a whole lot more to the story. Maybe they told you like a tiny little piece of it, and you found out there was, in fact, a lot more. And maybe you connected with the ex or with other people who've been with them and found out the same way that they were treating you was the way that they were treating everyone else. But you actually did believe that they were treating you better than they've ever treated anyone else because that's what they told you and that's what they made you feel like. So retroactive jealousy is prominent in narcissistic relationships and specifically impacts your relationships after you get out of that relationship with them and enter into new ones. So there's a lot of negative actions from retroactive jealousy and behaviors, a lot of obsessive like behaviors, a lot of OCD like behaviors, like dwelling on the past, arguing with your current partner and maybe your friends about your current partner or your past partner, and that interaction and exchange, a lot of snooping, a lot of browsing, a lot of going behind their back to find out, because in your mind is so consumed with jealousy that you almost can't rest, you can't sleep at night. So you spend a lot of time browsing. You are very confused by all of these overwhelmingly strong emotions like jealousy, envy, fear, all of those things, the anxiety. So because you're suffering them from that, you're looking for relief from that. And you tell yourself, or at least your mind tells you, that you will get relief from it when you just snoop, when you find out the truth. So you spend crazy amounts of time each week going online on forums, going to support groups or self-help groups, or searching websites, watching videos like this for cures for retroactive jealousy. I'm telling you, the cure is to rewire, reprogram your unconscious mind. All of those beliefs that you have that are causing the thoughts that are causing you to do these things like snoop and browse and argue and dwell, all of those can be changed, can be reprogrammed, can be rewired when you really get to the core and the root of what it is that's truly making you jealous, the core and the root of your fear, and relieve yourself, free yourself unconsciously from those things. That is the cure. You're not going to find the cure in watching a video like this or reading, a blog post or going into a forum. The cure is not there. That's just more knowledge, more awareness, other people sharing their stories and testimonies of retroactive jealousy. But the true cure is to go within and connect to your unconscious mind, the unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself that are causing the thoughts, that are causing the actions as well. But you'll notice another negative behavior is snooping. Snooping and browsing, very similar, but there's a strong desire to find out more about a partner's past that can lead to violating their personal space, hacking into their social media, hacking into their email accounts, hacking into their cell phone when they're going to the bathroom. And when you get caught in doing that, it's not if, it's when, then you have to explain yourself. Then there's a violation of trust in what may be a healthy relationship, and the relationship is more than likely forever change, because trust is one of those things just is really hard to get back. So your relationship is not going to be the same, and it may be a result of your snooping because of the retroactive jealousy resulting from the last narcissistic relationship that's causing you to do these things and ruin a good thing. So you're going to notice those OCD like behaviors every time your partner goes to the bathroom and they leave their cell phone. You just and every time they get on it, you know that they have a password, and you're watching them unlock it to see what their passcode is, so that next time they are in the bathroom or go to the kitchen to get a drink, you can get in really quick, hack in and look and see who they're following, who they're messaging, what they're doing, all because of your retroactive jealousy, which leads to the next negative experience and consequence of this, which is arguing. If you are going through retroactive jealousy or have retroactive jealousy, you're going to have a lot of arguments with your partner, obviously about the past, their past that you're jealous of. Because those feelings of anger and judgment result in arguments, retroactive jealousy sufferers, they are constantly on their partner. Even though they may think, well, the partner didn't do anything wrong, they're constantly on them and harping over them, making them feel as if the partner did something wrong, perhaps pushing them to do something wrong because they might as well. You're already constantly accusing them of it. And maybe they don't want you because they truly, truly are there to be with you and are not doing those things that they did in the past that you're so jealous of. But you're starting arguments perhaps for no reason, because of the snooping and because of the dwelling and because of the browsing. So when jealous thoughts arrive in the mind, jealous emotions also rise. and they can be felt in your body. You start to feel like your hands get sweaty or shaky, almost compulsive, like I have to check their phone. I have to check their phone. I just can't sleep at night unless I know who they've been messaging, unless they give me access to their Instagram or their email or whatever it is. And perhaps they've deleted it all because I don't want to argue with you anymore, but you still don't believe that they're remaining true or faithful. And you still are jealous of the people they've been with in the past and think that there is some sort of connection. Or what if that girl reaches out to you again? Then what? You're really going to tell me that you're not going to go back to her? So someone who's experiencing retroactive jealousy is not easily able to just step back and shrug off those dwelling negative thoughts. They descend into this rabbit hole of overthinking over and over and over and over about what happened in their partner's past. And then there's this constant, it's this elephant in the room that you're consumed with and overwhelmed with. And it's the thoughts of their past partners and how they were with them and what they really thought of them. And then that leads to you being very passive aggressive in the relationship, extremely sarcastic, having nasty, undermining comments that are fired off at your partner about their sexual or romantic past. And that will just end up inevitably destroying a relationship. So if you're experiencing RJ or retroactive jealousy, you're going to notice that even a good relationship feels bad. And you notice that it feels bad because of the things that you do. So if you're looking for a cure for this, because you're tired of noticing that you have these obsessive thoughts, and these obsessive thoughts are triggered by anxiety, and they lead to you doing things that you don't want to do, grabbing your partner's phone, even though you trust them, searching and snooping through it, and then lying about it. So you enter into the cycle of obsessive thoughts, which gives anxiety. You find temporary relief when you go, oh, okay, there are no messages. Good. Oh, hey, no, I wasn't. Oh, your phone? I have no idea. Oh, I thought it went off. I heard your phone ringing. I was gonna go give it to you. And you're tired of yourself lying about that, or finding yourself stuck in that cycle because you're so jealous of their romantic past and the people and partners they've been with in the past, and you don't know what to do about it, and you realize the detriment and the damage that it's having on your relationships, then that's a massive sign that there's more work to be done with you, because you unconsciously have these beliefs about yourself, which are leading to those obsessive and negative compulsive thoughts that are leading to the actions, leading to the passive aggressiveness, the dwelling, the swooping, the sniping, swooping and sniping, the swiping and the swooping into their lives, and never able to truly let it go. So you're going to see a direct correlation between retroactive jealousy, OCD, like behavior, signs, symptoms, and obsessive thoughts. All kind of ways to say the same thing. So with that said, in the case of retroactive jealousy, there's usually an involvement of your mind constantly almost playing movie-like images of how your partner was with their partners in the past, and almost being able to see your partner with another person and playing that movie in your mind while they're with you, and then comparing yourself to that movie, and ending up being very, very, very hard on yourself because of that. So there's a phrase that says resistance breeds persistence, or what you resist persists. So as a result of trying to stop thinking about the past partners and those repetitive thoughts on your own, what you're actually doing is giving them more power. And here's the truth. Most often, those things that you're obsessing about, those thoughts that you're having, are not even accurate. And more than likely, your partner is telling you that's not even how it was. That's not what happened. You're so far off. You're wrong. And you begin to manifest this insecurity with that, and then project that manifested insecurity onto the relationship about something that didn't even happen. But that's what happens. It's as if you're playing this movie in your mind about your partner being with other partners. And especially like if memories come up on their phone or something, or they make a comment of like, oh yeah, I've been to France before, I've been to Italy before, I've been to Hawaii before, and you're thinking, oh yeah, with that one girl. And all they're telling you is I've been to that location before, I've been to that place before, but your retroactive jealousy is all consuming and always makes it about their past partners and romantic relationships. So if you're noticing these behaviors within yourself that we talked about, the arguing, the dwelling, the snooping, the browsing, the anxiety, the anger, the fear, all of that's yours. I hate to tell you, but you already know that it's the truth. That is yours, and that is what's going on within you, because retroactive jealousy is something that you experience, and you experience it. Most people I've worked with who are coming out of narcissistic relationships experience it intensely, and they don't want it. And it's another level and layer of their inner healing that needs to be done so that they can move towards having a healthy relationship. So they're no longer dominated by these consuming negative thoughts that impact not just romantic partnerships and relationships, but how they are in every relationship. So if you are tired of yourself and you're sick and tired of your retroactive jealousy and having intrusive relational sexual thoughts about your partner's past, then I would love to connect with you, because that is at the core and the root of the unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself, the ways that you're comparing yourself, and your mind is putting you constantly in a position of not being good enough and not being as good as those people that they were with in their past, even if the people that they were with in their past truly were a one night stand, it didn't mean anything. So getting to that place where you're connected at the core and root of your unconscious beliefs so that you can understand what's going on in your head, that is the most important step and the first step to overcoming it. So getting to that place where you have the tools, you have the procedures that you need in place, but not just that, but believing about yourself that you are enough, that you are confident, not just faking this confidence by putting more makeup on or getting a better outfit or higher heels or whatever it is, but truly believing in yourself and transforming the unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself. So if a thought like that comes to mind, or you ask your partner, hey, have you ever been to Hawaii? I would love to go. Your immediate thought isn't, oh yeah, I bet you went there with that girl. What did you guys do while you were there? And truly able to have a conversation about Hawaii, perhaps go to Hawaii with them and enjoy Hawaii with them, and the entire time not be comparing what you assume their experience was with that other person while you're there, so that you can truly not only enjoy the relationship, enjoy yourself first and foremost, because that is what makes a relationship. Relationships riddled with jealousy are not good or fun relationships. So if you suffer from retroactive jealousy, specifically from being in past narcissistic relationships, you've got more inner work to do. And it doesn't take as much work as you would think. It takes getting to the very core and the very root of the obsessive thoughts that have you feeling jealous or insecure, saying that you're not enough, that are causing the anxiety, and not just having temporary relief, but having permanent relief from these things by completely reprogramming your unconscious mind so that you are just indifferent to thoughts about your partner's past. You could care less. They can mention it and you can go, okay, let's talk about Hawaii instead of who you went there with and what you did with them while you were there, and release the anxiety and the emotions over the anger and the judgment and the envy and the jealousy, and stop with the snooping and stop with the dwelling and stop with the reminiscing and cut the passive aggressiveness out of the relationship and have permanent relief, not just temporary relief from the obsessive thoughts about your partner's past. So if that's what you're ready for, I would love to talk to you about transformational healing and love to work with you one-to-one. If you're not ready to work one-to-one yet, for whatever reason, I would love to see you in our program, Transforming Past Pain to Present Power, because that's what it's all about. It's all about getting to the very core and the very root of the unconscious beliefs that you have about yourself because of past relationships or because of your partner's past relationships, to have complete freedom and relief from them. All right, guys, that is it for now and all that we're going to cover today in the form of retroactive jealousy. I would love to see you either in our program or in a call one-to-one. So you can find the links to book that, more information in the description below this video. All right, bye for now.